Rockford leaders set a goal of building thousands of homes to meet demand. That's expected in the coming years. City staff believe they can reach that by changing laws like what type of homes can be built and where.
Rockford City Council members will soon consider a proposal for amendments to zoning ordinances. Reporter Nathaniel Langley learns why city staff hope they could boost development, especially for areas in need.
One word dictates where almost every building goes in Rockford.
Zoning.
But the rules guiding the city's zoning may soon change.
We're currently looking at some text amendments.
Scott Capavilla leads Rockford's Zoning and Planning Department, which looks to rewrite the city's regulations around housing development.
We think that the banks will look more favorably at the builders and developers.
Changes include specific guidelines for duplexes as well as 3 and 4 unit homes.
Specifically, probably will be targeting parts of the west side where there's a huge need for infill development.
If city leaders sign off on the zoning changes, 3plexes and 4plexes can be built in parts of the community meant for duplexes.
But when we limit these things and don't let creativity take root, then what we do is create higher priced housing.
The city set a goal of 9,000 new homes by 2033. To meet that mark, Rockford would need to add nearly 1,300 homes every year for the next 7 years.
For several years, we tore down more homes than we built.
Ron Kluwer from Platform Group says for every single-family home on sale right now in Rockford, there are 4 realtors.
It's impeding our ability for businesses locally to obtain workforce.
The developer suggests streamlined zoning could build a better path for the community.
We need things to expedite faster production, lower the costs, and improve the housing stock.
Reporting in Rockford, Nathaniel Langley.
The City Council's Code and Regulations Committee will vote on the changes next Monday. If approved, the proposal requires approval then from the Zoning Board of Appeals before returning for a full council vote.